Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another fun and exciting video of your business communication class. I'm Barry, and I'm super duper happy to be back here with you for video number 2 of week 13. Again, we just have 2 weeks left. Next week will be review, and the week after will be our final exam. In video 1, we did a quick review of units 1, 2, and 3. So introductions, work and leisure, and problems. In this video, we're going to talk about travel, food and entertaining, and buying and selling. So we'll be reviewing those 3 units. And before we do the review, there is another working across cultures activity here. So I'm going to walk you through that, give you an online discussion to complete, and then we'll get into our review of units 4, 5, and 6. All right, we don't have a lot of time, so let's jump right into it. And you'll see here that we're talking about communication styles. People from different cultures have different ways of communicating, different styles of communication, and we're focusing here on 3: China, Germany, and the US, which I know very well because I am from the US. Okay, for this one, you're gonna read these 3 descriptions and then decide which country do you think that matches. And when you've decided on the matches, then you can go check page 136, and of course think about which one of these then is the closest match to your country. So if you are Korean, which of these cultures is most similar to Korean culture? If you're from a different country, compare it to your country and see which one is the best fit for your country and which one is the most different too. That's always fun to think about. All right. So if there are any words you don't know here, any new words, please look them up. I recommend the Longman Dictionary, Longman, Longman English Dictionary, which is a great dictionary for students who are learning English as a second or third or fourth language. I would always do that first before running to Naver or Papago or whichever online Korean English dictionary you use. Try Longman first. You'll learn a lot more new words doing it that way. Okay, in part B, we have some statements about the US, business in the US, and you just need to decide, do you think these are true or false? Put a little FRT next to them, and then listen to the audio file in Canvas 1.82, and you'll listen to an expert, a communication expert, talk about US business culture, and then see if you were right or wrong. See how many of those you guessed right. Okay, and then this is fun to think about. What is your impression of business culture? Does it seem like a culture you would enjoy working with, or do you think maybe you would prefer to avoid working with Americans? Okay, so that's the US one. Then we have down here Germany, business culture in Germany. And you've got some different categories here, like greetings. How do they greet each other? How do they greet other people? How do they use personal space? Do they give you a lot of room, or do they stay nice and close? Communication style, are they direct or indirect? Or punctuality, we learned that word actually in the last review. We talked about that word. If you're punctual, you're on time. So how important is it to be on time in Germany? And then names and titles. How do you address people? How do you call? What names do you use to call people that you meet? And finally, meetings. What is the meeting culture? Are they short and sweet, or are they long and rambling? Are they well structured, or are they just kind of a free-for-all where you just do what you want and it takes forever? And again, think about your country and compare how things go in your country to things in Germany. And if you hear a girl crying in the background, that's my daughter. She is just getting out of the shower and she's not very happy with her mother right now. So please just ignore that. You've also got then China. You're going to listen to this one and you're going to answer these questions. So when do you shake hands? Why do the Chinese try not to say no to you? Difference between Chinese and Americans. Several questions here. You just listen to the file and then you will answer those questions. Okay, and this is going to be your online discussion right here, this task on the bottom of page 61. So you imagine you work for this big multinational company. You have offices all over the world, and you're going to be sent for a year to either China, the US, or Germany. And now you've learned a lot about all three countries and the business cultures in all three countries. So you need to think about which of those countries would be ideal for you. Which one would you most want to go to spend a year living and working there? And you've got 3 questions. So what are the reasons for your choice? What are you going to do to prepare so that you are ready culturally to live there and work there? And what do you want to learn? What do you hope to learn from your time in that country? Again, post your online discussion on Canvas. It'll be due on Friday the 12th, I believe, but the details will be right in Canvas in the assignment there. Okay, so that is our little bit of international business culture for this video, and then we'll get into our review. So we're reviewing again units 4, 5, and 6, travel, food and entertaining, and buying and selling. And we start with vocab for travel. Several words here like book. This is not book shake. This is book the verb, as in reserve. So book a ticket, book a hotel, etc. I think most of these are fairly easy. Queue might throw you off a bit. Queue means to line up or wait in line. In the UK, they use that word queue. In America, we say just line up or wait or line. So I'll do the first one for you. I often travel from England to South Africa for business. It's always the same. First, I go on the internet and what? I need to reserve a plane ticket. So I'm going to use book a plane ticket. I also blank a hotel room for my stay. I also a hotel room for my stay. And I think you're just going to use book for both of those, right? Book a plane ticket and book a hotel room. All right, you can do the rest on your own. And we also learned about there is and there are, how to use those for positive or negative questions. So if it's one thing or if it's non-countable, you're going to use there is. And if it's countable, plural, more than 2 or more, you're going to use there are or are there. Right? So you could say, is there a hospital, for example, near here? You're just thinking about one hospital. But convenience store, there are many of them usually. And so you might say, are there any convenience stores around here? All right, and we have a bank. We're asking a question. So is there a bank near here? And of course, the rest you can do on your own. This one you need to think about in an office. You've got 2 people, receptionist who works for the company, greets the customer, and then the customer who comes in And in this case, we're talking about a hotel. So you've got a hotel guest or customer and the front desk clerk or receptionist. And it looks like this is a phone call. So you need to just write an R or a C. R if the receptionist is saying this, asking this question. See if it's the customer. When you're done with that, you're going to move down here to the match, and you're going to match each reply, right? We have 8 questions here, and we have, oh, look at that, 8 replies down here. So you'll just need to match your question to one of these replies. All right. Then in Unit 5, we had food and entertaining. The vocab here was food stuff. No problem there. I think aubergine is probably a little bit strange for you. That is eggplant. And aubergine is eggplant in French, and the British also call eggplants aubergines. So if you are Korean, when you see that word aubergine, think of eggplant. And if that doesn't help you, then think of the Korean word gaji. I like eggplants, but my kids, well, my son does, but my daughter definitely is not a big eggplant fan. She likes the color purple, but she does not like purple vegetables. So I think everything, trout is a kind of fish. Tuna, you know, of course. Cod is also a type of fish. Beef, you know, cheesecake. I'm happy that beef cake is on the menu. And veal is a type of, it's a young cow. This is veal. All right. So here we have again some much and many, countable, uncountable, and also a lot of. So you just need to circle which word best completes the conversation. So time used like this is not countable. So how much time do you have for lunch? Oh, I have about an hour. Do you have much time? No, sorry, I don't have much time. So think about much time always going together. I have an hour. Are there restaurants? Well, we've got a plural, and so we're going to do any. Are there any restaurants near here? Yes, there are some. It's a positive statement, right? There are some about 5 minutes from here. And you can go ahead and finish by yourself. We next move down to skills. Skills where you're going to just match sentence halves. So let's go. So we can know just grammatically, let's go. Generally, this is going to have an infinitive and a verb, right? Let's go. If you didn't even look at the options, if I just said, let's go, and then complete the sentence with as many different things as you can come up with, you might say, let's go to McDonald's. Let's go to my friend's house. Let's go home. You could say, let's go home. Let's go to play baseball, right? So you've got let's go to a place, like a noun. You've got let's go to plus verb do something. So you already know that you can narrow it down. So if I say let's go for a coffee, no, let's go for a coffee would work, or let's go get a coffee would work, but not let's go for a coffee. Let's go visit the museum. Well, could work, but that's a question, so that sounds a little awkward. Let's go, but I don't think we have time. Let's go to, okay, to the new Italian restaurant. That sounds like a good choice, but let's just double check E and F to make sure. Let's go trying the Indian restaurant? No. Let's go an Indian curry is the best idea. No. So we know that this one has to go match with D. Okay. This one, my suggestion is This one, when you start a sentence with my suggestion is, usually you're going to have an infinitive and a verb. Again, my suggestion is to do our homework early. My suggestion is to go see a movie. My suggestion is to Momo something. And we only really have one option here that'll work with that. My suggestion is to go for a coffee. Okay. How about, that's a question, so look for the questions. Why don't we is also a question. In my opinion, I think that. And I see what you mean. I see what you mean, comma, we're probably, this is just a way of softening before we say we disagree with someone, right? So usually if you hear, I see what you mean, usually it's going to be followed by a but. I see what you mean, but I think you're wrong, for example. All right, we've got some more words here. Agree, exactly, no, point, right, true. These are, again, think about, you're talking with someone, agreeing and disagreeing with someone. So these are all very useful in that type of situation. And that brings us down to buying and selling. Buying and selling review vocab. So deals, things like discount, 2 for the price of, free delivery, interest-free credit, low deposit. These are all useful vocabulary words when you are selling things. So you need to decide, is it just some things or all the things based on the wording here. So some or all of the shop's products have special lower prices this weekend. Okay. So it says this weekend we're offering great deals on sofas, 20% discount on everything in our shop. So everything in our shop is 20% off. So that's going to be an all, right? Everything is lower. Some sofas are of the usual price. 66% discount on selected, which means some sofas. So some sofas are 66%. So they're only going to, there's 66% discount, so you only pay a third. So they cost 1/3 of the usual. And you can finish those by yourself. And here we have, again, this is past tense verbs. Past tense verbs. So make sure you know how to put each of these in the past tense. And we're doing simple past here, right? Simple past tense. Because these are actions that happened in the past and they're finished. They are completed. All right, that brings us down to the writing portion here. So this is a paragraph about this guy Lars, and you're just let me see here between this one and the next one. I think this one you can just ignore here. Yeah. We're not going to worry about, don't worry about this page. Don't worry about that page. We'll finish with this. So this will be also an online discussion. So paragraph 75 to 100 words about this guy, Lars. Revisit in your textbook, the unit where we talked about time. So for example, from 2003 to 2006, he studied at Stockholm University. He did an internship, blah, blah, blah. In 2006, he graduated with a degree in marketing. So you're going to change these verbs to past tense. Okay. And write that right in your, there'll be an online discussion set up for you in Canvas to do that. And I will actually show you right now. Okay, so you've got 2 online discussions. The one here on page 64, the one up here about on page 61, about China, the US, and Germany. And that will be it for this lesson, this video. Again, next week I'm going to have a very specific review activity that'll help you get ready for each of the questions you might find on the final exam. And then I'll explain in detail what the final exam will be. I'm still waiting to hear from the university to see how they want us to do them. There will also be a quiz there this week. There's a quiz also due Friday the 12th. And make sure you finish that quiz. And if you have any questions, as always, give me a call. Give me a call if you want, but you send me a message on Kakao. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. And as always, I'll respond to you as soon as possible. So thank you again for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And you do not need to write anything special for your comment under video 2 here. Just anything is fine. There's no special thing that you have to write. So you can write anything. I hope you write more than thank you, though. It's always a good chance to practice your writing. So I will see you soon, and take care. Bye-bye now.